Welcome to another episode of Asexualized, my asexual life. This is a place to be for education about asexuality, all things asexual, and I share my own asexual life journey in order to help you in yours. If you haven't already subscribed to this channel, please hit the great big subscribe button now. Hit that bell icon so you get notified of every time I go live like now or post a new video. And don't forget to give this video a thumbs up as we go along if you're liking the content. Hello, Michael. Nice to see you nice. For those of you who don't know who I am, I'm Sandra Bellamy, author of Asexual Perspectives, 47 Asexual Stories. That's out on Amazon. I am the founder of asexualise.com and the founder of Asexualise Academy, which is the world's first online training centre and school for asexuals and asexuality. Really excited to have you here. Hello again, Michael. Nice to see you again, to see you nice. This is an episode. I'm going to have some water because my voice is a bit sore today. This is an episode that's all about how to know if the person's right for a relationship for you from the beginning. So if you follow my channel, you'll know that I talk a lot on this channel about relationships and dating, particularly asexual relationships and dating, as that's what I am, asexual. I'm a heteromantic asexual, so I'm looking for a romantic asexual life partner. In my specific case, I like younger foreign guys. I'm known as an asexual cougar. That's the label I choose for myself to have because I prefer for guys who are younger to be attracted to me and to kind of rule out all the older guys that I just wouldn't be attracted to. So that's why I like giving myself that label. I don't personally have any bad connotations with the label cougar. I just think it's absolutely fine for an older woman to like younger guys like it is for an older guy to like much younger women. I just think there should be a lot more equality in society like that. Anyway, if you've been following me over the last few days, you'll notice that I've been talking to two guys. One who's from Spain on the asexual ASAP, but who's a heterosexual, not asexual. I've also been talking to a nice young guy who's from Portugal but lives in the UK who is asexual heteromantic. So today I was messaging the heteromantic asexual guy and we're having a very long text messages on Facebook for quite a number of hours throughout the day. Now, why is it good to do this in the beginning of get to know someone? So if you think you are attracted to an asexual person and you possibly might want a relationship in the future with you, you might possibly want a future relationship with them, so you might want them to have a future relationship with you, then there is ways that you can ask questions and do it in such a friendly way that you can find out if they would be suitable for a relationship for you without giving the whole game away that you're really wanting a relationship with them or really interested. Or you can make it, known that you're interested, but without really showing how interested you are, and get a good gist of if that person would be right for you by the way they message you back, by what they say in their messages, by the things they like that you do and don't like. So all this stuff is great because it's much better to find out early on in a friendship, potential relationship, if you like that person, if you're attracted to that person in a romantic way, for example. I know, Michael, this one isn't going to apply to you, but not for dating. But however, you could apply these techniques to friendships, to people you meet as friends. You could apply it to them because you might be able to look for signs if they're going to annoy you in future. If their personality is going to rub you up the wrong way, for example. So just because I'm talking about this in a relationship dating scene doesn't mean to say that some people can't apply these techniques if they're looking for friendship. Because it's kind of, obviously, if you're not so romantically inclined, which you really aren't, then you're not going to be so, you're going to be more logical, right? So romantics, I think, are not as logical as aromantics in my experience. So that's a plus for you being an asexual aromantic. I think when you're romantic in general, your emotions tend to get in the way because romance tends to take over a lot, right? I've become better at this, though, Michael. You've probably watched my channel for a long time now. I think I've become better at this. I've become more logical than I used to be. I've become more managing my hyper-romanticism, managing the way I have romance for people. I actually praise myself on that because so far I've been really good. I do slack sometimes. I do have a guy that comes in my life and totally triggers it, and it's off the radar. Too much romance already. And, you know, I'm not completely infallible because at the end of the day, I am a hyper romantic. So it's kind of really hard to control something that is in the essence of who you are. But I believe you can change yourself. I believe you can, with a lot of practice, new habits and techniques, you can transform your life and transform the way you are as a person. To a certain extent, I really believe that. So in this case, I mean, it might be interesting for you, even as an aromantic, to just hear what I have to say as well, because it's kind of like interesting to see the how I've changed in my journey as well, to how I used to be to how I am now. So if you want to carry on watching this, Michael, I'd love to still have you, even though you are an aromantic person. It'd still be lovely to have you. Thank you to whoever else is watching as well. I know this video will benefit a lot of people who are into asexual dating and relationships especially. And I thought it's really important to do this video for those people who are struggling, like I've struggled, as you know, for years. And I still struggle now, because even now there's a twinge of hope in me that this person might change in the future. They're very young, so it is even possible, because they said they need to make changes to themselves. But I'm going to come on to that in a bit. So first of all, I was messaging this person for a lot of time, right? So I must have been messaging this person for, probably 4 hours. I don't know. It's been huge for a lot of today, like a lot of this evening. I've been messaging them for hours, backwards and forwards for a very long time, to the point where I'm actually feeling like I need food. I'm a bit ill. I need to get food because I've just been like on the typing all the time and trying to do some other stuff at the same time, which is always not quite good. Anyway, I'm trying to remember now everything that I learnt from this. So yeah, so we were talking, and as I was talking, we were going along, and he was messaging me, and eventually, we had a lot in common. So first of all, you have to take the whole picture. So you have to take the picture of, do you have a lot in common with them? Do you have common interests with them? Do you have things shared interest? Now, if you find out through your message chat that you have hardly anything in common, any interests or hobbies the same, that is a red flag for this relationship would never work. So unless you can find more things you've got as common interests later, or hobbies, that means that you're not really going to be compatible, because your life's just going to be so tough. You're not going to have much to do together or to talk about. In this case with this young foreign guy, who lives in the UK from Portugal. Obviously, he's living in the UK, which is a bonus. He's foreign, which is a bonus. He's 22, which is the age group I like. And I like some of the clothes he wears. When he's not got his beard on, I noticed in his picture he's clean shaven. I like him. So obviously, if they're on Facebook, you check out their Facebook profile, their pictures, to see if you like them aesthetically, if you're aesthetically romantically attracted. Obviously, if you're a pan-romantic person watching this, the majority of pan-romantics, they're not so bothered about the aesthetics. They'd rather get to know the person. However, having said that, one of my pan-romantic friends, he has an aesthetic attraction more for guys than girls. So he does experience aesthetic attraction, particularly much more for guys. So, just because someone's pan-romantic, which means they can fall in love with any gender or any sexual, any gender whatsoever. So where you're agender, transgender, gender fluid, male or female, they can like any gender. There are some pan-romantics, they're different. We're talking about pan-romantics, not pansexuals here. We're talking about pan-romantics. Pansexuals are people that are sexually attracted to any gender. Pan-romantics are asexuals that don't experience any romantic attraction. But, they don't experience any sexual attraction. They experience romantic attraction, but no sexual attraction. I'll start that again, because my mind's a bit like, tonight, because literally I was messaging this guy for hours, and my blood sugar level's dropping. I've got some food, but my blood sugar level's still not quite correct. So I will start again from that bit. So a pan-romantic is someone that can be attracted to any gender. So they can be attracted to male, female, transgender, agender, gender fluid, any non-binary. They can be attracted to any of those. So a pan-romantic asexual is someone who's attracted to any of those, but not sexually, only romantically. And a pansexual is someone who's attracted to any of those sexually, and romantically at the same time, usually. So I'm talking about pan-romantic asexuals here, because obviously this is an asexual show. So basically, yeah, they can be attracted to any gender. So if for someone who, if you're watching this now and you're trying to see if someone's right for you in the beginning, if you're a person that really doesn't care about looks and no aesthetic attraction, then looking through a person's photographs is not going to make much odds difference to you. However, you still need to know that they're a real person. They're not some fake profile they've stuck on their Facebook profile, a troll or a paedophile or a someone who's just like faking it. I get a lot of people from the army contacting me. I know that they're just fake profiles put on Facebook. I've had so much experience on Twitter to know that these profiles are fake. I had one today. It'll be Mr. So-and-so from US Army, and it'll just have a picture of this guy in there. And most of the time they're just nicked, I think. But anyway, they're fake accounts. I know them from Twitter, but because I've got all the experience on Twitter, I know that. So obviously you do still really want to be checking out photographs to see if they've got photographs of them with their friends, to see if they've got photographs of them on their own. And also you need to be looking for signs to see if they are really asexual. I mean, if they've got loads of scantily clad women all over their profile, they're likely not asexual. Doesn't mean to say they're not. There's a few people on the more sexual end of the spectrum that still has those type of pictures, but in general, you know, they wouldn't have scantily clad women, and for example, they wouldn't just have nearly all women on their profile. I mean, if for example you're female like me who's just attracted to guys, and you're looking for and you know, like I'm looking for a guy, if the guy's got pretty much all his friends that he's friended on Facebook are women, then he's got scantily clad pictures of women, especially if he's got like jokes about being in bed with women, you know, that really isn't an asexual person likely. So you just need to bear that in mind. So obviously if it's not asexual and you know, you want an honest person, they're not being honest with you from the off, then that person you can disclude straight away. And you know, anyone who's been dishonest, who's lying, who's not good, they don't bother giving them a second chance. You've only just met them. There's no point. You don't need them in your life. They weren't in your life before, so just rule them out straight away. However, like I said, when you've got the photographs, if you're attracted to aesthetics, you want to have a look for aesthetics. You see if you like their aesthetics, that's great. Obviously, there might be other things you look for on their Facebook profile, like if they've got stuff on there about a religion they hate, and you're part of that religion, that's going to be a no-go for you as well, right? So some people don't like Christianity, right? And there was one guy who applied to one of my asexual groups, and he had a he's in lots of asexual groups, mind you, and he had a picture of a priest or vicar, I think it was, being shot at by loads of guys, you know, literally he was on the floor begging for mercy, and all these people around trying to shoot him. Now, I wouldn't put that type of person even in one of my asexual friends or asexual dating or any asexual groups. I'm not having that type of person in any of my groups, you know. I will accept people like into my friends group from all different parts of the asexual spectrum, but I will not put up with or tolerate people who will have so much hatred for a specific religion like that when there's Christian people in my groups. You know, there's a mixture of people. Some are Christians, some are atheists, some are Hindu, some are Muslim. You know, I won't have that sort of stuff. One thing I found funny is that I don't find women attractive, but a lot of the artists I watch paint or photograph women. Oh, that's interesting, Michael. And some aromantic people, they do still have aesthetic attraction, because I've known some that do. So this is important when you're looking through their Facebook profile, you know, even before you message them, you know, seeing what they're like with their other friends. Are they happy? Are they sad? Are they angry? See some of the posts they write. Are they writing F this, F that? Are they quite angry? Have they got quite bad attitude? All this type of thing. So it's things that you can look at through their profile just to know from the off whether they're suitable or not for you. For a relationship, there might be some things that you just think completely, no way, I wouldn't like to be spoken to like that. I don't like the language they're using. I don't like what they stand for, you know, and that will put you off from the off, and that's fine. You know, no need to pursue it or carry it on. But if once you start talking, if you decide you want to talk to them, you start talking to them, and you find you have nothing in common, like I've said, with hobbies or interests, that again is a red flag for it's not going to be any good in relationship. Obviously, you can still give it time to get to know each other, find out if you have more things in common. But if you're seeing a lot of red flags from the beginning, it's not good. Like there was a young foreign guy who came to my last asexual meetup, for example, but he's a lovely guy. I'm a lovely person, but he smoked for a start, so that's a big no-no. Can't be with a smoker. And we didn't have that much in common, so that's two no's, really. Do you see what I mean? So it'd be no-go. So with this particular foreign guy who lives in the UK, we were actually got off to a really good start, right? We had lots of hobbies in common. Not necessarily, hobbies. Like, we both love going to the cinema. He loved going to the cinema like a hobby. He said found it like a meditative experience, and I found it like a therapeutic experience. So we both had that in common. We like some of the same films. I like Disney films. He likes and some Disney music. He likes that too. We were getting on really well. We had quite a lot of things in common. I like herbal teas. He was saying what he likes. So I was saying what I like, and we were just, I said I like theme parks. He said I haven't been to that, but it's something you probably would like to go to. I said I love aquariums. He goes, oh, I love aquariums so much. I wouldn't mind working there, and it just went on. It was a very good conversation. However, it was very difficult for me with this person because we were both entering this as a friendship, the way we were speaking to each other. And obviously, I like younger foreign guys, so I was being very tentative in how I handled the situation and getting in the fact that am also interested in a foreign guy for a relationship, because he doesn't know that. He came into one of my groups, my UK asexuality support and dating group. It's a support group and dating group, not just dating group. So people are in it for different reasons in that group. And so I was coming at it from the friendship angle, but with a view to, I actually knew that some of the pictures I found him aesthetically attractive, but not the ones where he has a beard. So I kind of already knew that in my mind. So from that point on, I was kind of like sussing out whether I should just always be friends with this guy or whether he's possible relationship material for me, right? Because the way the conversation was going and we getting on so well and he was messaging me back loads, I thought, well, it's possible he might like me more than a friend. So I had to get in the fact that I do have younger foreign guy friends. They're not suitable for a relationship with me. I hold asexual meetups in my city. That's what we talk about. So I said, we do talk about asexuality, relationships and dating, because a lot of us are on asexual dating sites. But ironically, none of us who've come to one of my meetups has met anyone at my meetups yet for a relationship. But my meets are used more for socialising their relationships. But that is one way you're going to meet someone. But none of us have been right for each other. And then that's how I kind of worked into the conversation that I like younger foreign guys. So it's very difficult for me to get a relationship with one. So, and I said I have a foreign guy best friend who's 22, but he's like aromantic and into guys more. But we get on really, really well with each other. But he's a good friend, I said. And then that's when he goes, oh, I'm 22. And then I'm kind of like going into conversation. Well, I do like younger guys, but this is what I like as a friend. This is what I like in terms of boyfriend, because I expect more from a boyfriend. Like, I would want more communication with them. I would want them to prioritize me. I would want this, that, and the other. You see, I kind of like have a different sort of set of rules, I guess, for a potential boyfriend than I do just a friend. And so I kind of like was trying to put it out there, and then he asked me, because I said I like younger foreign guys, he asked me how old I was, and I said, well, I don't like to say unless anyone's actually interested in a relationship with me. To be fair to them, I'll say then. But it's not true to who I am. My birth certificate age is not true to who I am. I'm nothing like it. I live like a teenager. I have a 21st mindset, so I believe I can do anything a 21st 21-year-old can do. And it's laughable, really. It's a piece of paper to me. I'm so grateful and thankful my parents, gave birth to me. And out of respect for them, I love my birth certificate for that specific reason. But actually, birth certificate age is just laughable. It's just nothing like who I am. It's a complete joke to me. It's like I'm disassociated from it. Do you know what I mean? It's like I'm so been in this 21st mindset for so long. And if I start going out of the 21st mindset a little bit, I find myself not liking life as much. I'm like, no. I'm like, hang on a minute, Sandra, you're 21. Stop it. What are you thinking? I'm like, oh yeah, of course I'm 21. Sorry. Happy now. And being 21 is just much better for me. And it's just who I am. And also getting to talking to relationships about him. Talking to being in a relationship, what type of things I was looking for when I was talking to him. He started saying that he was like an older guy, even though he's 22, because he's like an 80s guy with music and, stuff like that. And that's how kind of I started creeping into the fact, creeping's the wrong word to use. I started easing into the fact that I'm interested in younger foreign guys, because I said to him and younger guys, because I said to him about, what was it again? Yeah, he said about old soul. I said, oh, that's quite funny. I'm laughing because I usually attract guys romantically who are older souls. So they kind of complement my young soul. I said, but sometimes younger guys are still too old for me because I don't want a younger guy who's older to make me old, if that makes sense. He knew what I was talking about anyway. So anyway, and then he came back with age is just a number. So then I thought that's great because he really doesn't care how old I am in birth certificate age then. He goes, oh, his dad's like 48 and he acts more like 80, I think he said, or something like that. So that was like really nice. I found that really good. And he was quite praising of things. Like I said, I had fibro, and he said, oh, and I talked about like my 21st mindset and how I live my life and go out dancing and stuff. And he goes, oh, you're really confident. It's really good. So I liked all that, but it was great. And then, you know, so all that was going really well. And then, as I was talking about what type of things I wanted in a boyfriend, I said, and I can't, you know, I want someone who doesn't smoke, right? Because obviously when you're talking to someone as a friend, you don't need to stipulate that, right? Because they're just your friend. It doesn't really matter whether they do that. It's not affecting you. Obviously, if they're smoking around you, it can still affect you. But I have, like at my last meetup, there was 2 guys who were smoking outside. So I just had to keep away from them because obviously I was still like coughing from the previous chest infection that I had for like weeks that I'm only just basically got over now nearly. And you know, and even being around smoke, any type of smoke, one was vaping and one had a cigarette, and you know, even vaping, it just does, you know, it's just not good for me. And anyway, that's when he told me, he says, I don't smoke, I used to do that, and I used to do drugs in the past, in my past life, but I don't do any of that anymore, and nicotine makes me feel sick, but I do vaping now, which is good for my health. Which I said, personally, I don't believe that is good for your health. I think there's loads of chemicals and stuff, but I'm happy for people to do what they want. Just I personally couldn't, you know, whatever makes them happy, but I personally couldn't be in a relationship with someone like that because I'm anti-smoking as it is. And I told him about the time I kissed the heterosexual guy that I was a smoker, which I couldn't believe I did. And then I got really ill after it. I said, I'm sensitive. I couldn't be kissing someone who was vaping either, you know? And I'm, you know, if he wants to do that, that's fine. But I just personally couldn't be with someone like that. So straight away, I know that I can't be in a relationship with him. Not unless years down the line, he decided to change himself like that and decided to completely stop vaping as well. You know, I mean, as he's 22, it is possible he could change if he wanted to. But I would never ask him to. I've not said that to him or suggested it to him. I've just said categorically, I can't be with a smoker. So I said I could only be friends with you anyway. And then he was trying to say, you know, that it's not as bad as it's about as bad as the nicotine, a coffee. I said, well, I don't have nicotine. I don't drink coffee. I don't have anything nicotine. Hi, Heather. Nice to see you. So already, you see, at the beginning, that's a no-no. So when you're looking for dating or a possible relationship, it's really important to get these hard questions, like deal breakers, I call them, out in the beginning of the friendship / potential relationship. It's really important you get these deal breakers out. Like, you know, if religion is really important to you and you have to be with someone who's the same religion as you, then you need to be asking that question early on, don't you? Do you know what I mean? Because I have friends that are atheists as well. One of my BFF's an atheist. It doesn't bother me in the slightest that he's an atheist. But some people, they just can't accept it. If they're Christian or another religion, they can't accept the fact that some people don't believe in any God. They can't handle it. I'm not bothered. I'm not bothered by that at all. I wouldn't be bothered if I was in a relationship with someone like that, as long as the person doesn't try and change me and I won't try and change them. It's absolutely fine. It doesn't bother me at all. I mean, I had an accident when I was young, got completely knocked out, unconscious, and there was no light at the end of the tunnel, no flashing lights or anything like that. No recognition that I was even alive by my brain. So so I have that experience, which, you know, like, although I still do believe in God, getting a bit personal, which is, you know, I'm not really strictly religious and I don't believe in the Holy Spirit and all that lot, but, you know, I just have very little religion that I believe on my own. But you know, I can understand why some people don't believe in it, because at that point in my time when I was completely unconscious, and I never knew I was unconscious, I woke up in the ambulance, you know, that part of my life is like, that little bit of my life is blocked out. It's black. It doesn't, well, it doesn't even exist you know, which is quite a scary thing. And when you wake up in the ambulance and you've had such an experience like that, and you think there was no, like, you know, like they say, if you have a near-death experience, there is light at the end of tunnel. I guess it wasn't a near-death experience. I was still breathing and my heart was still beating. I was just unconscious. But obviously that's the closest thing I've got, really, to having such an experience like that. And there was nothing. There was no indication I was even alive. I didn't even know that I was... there was no consciousness there. Do you see what I mean? Well, I didn't think there was, but apparently I was, like, moving in the ambulance a lot. So my body was still conscious. So I must have been still conscious on a level that I didn't realise about. So, do you know what I'm saying? It's just that I can understand why some people don't believe in it, even though I do have my own beliefs. But I'm more spiritual overall. But yeah, but I think you can believe in God and be spiritual at the same time. I do. But my religion is very, 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 very basic. Very super basic. You know, I don't read the Bible. I don't go to church or anything like that. But I have had quite a lot of experiences where I could have, like, been seriously injured or nearly died. So, you know, like that experience then. So I'm really thankful to the powers that be that I'm still here. So, yeah, you know, that's what I mean. So even when you're having conversations, you know, you can tell earlier on if they're deal breakers. So get all those deal breaker questions in there. Like, if you want children and they don't, that's going to be a deal breaker, isn't it? So yesterday, I think it was, when we were messaging, he told me already that he didn't want children and I don't want children. So I knew that was a tick for him in a potential relationship case. So this is how, so to be honest, everything was going quite well until he started saying about the fact, well, actually, there was one other thing I didn't like straight away as well. So, but everything was going quite well up until the fact that he said he vaped, because I can't be with a vapor. You know, from all my chest problems for the last 7 weeks, there's no way I can kiss someone who vapes and put those chemicals from their tongue on mine, even if it isn't nicotine. It's just not going to be good for me. You know how ill I've been. I mean, seriously, 7 weeks or whatever it's been, which I think it's been 7 weeks, you know, to just be, like, sick. It's just like... You know, I don't want to get in that state ever again. No guy is worth that to me when there's tons of other guys out there. And another thing was, from the office, I was instigating the messages. So he would respond, but I was instigating the messages, and I don't like that. In any relationship or friendship, there has to be two ways. Like, in the past, I've had friendships that were very one-sided, whereas when I was a kid, whereas I made the, you know, I was the one doing the ringing up. I was the one sort of pursuing the friendship. I was the one holding the friendship together. I mean, I was the one that was being sort of more of the man in the friendship, if you like. I was being the one that sort of was stepping up to the plate the whole time. And kind of like, I don't want that type of friendship again. That is not a friendship. That is just some people using the other person and being selfish. You know, I had a person that was really quite selfish. And actual fact, quite a lot of my, you know, I hardly had any friends as a kid, but the only so-called friends I did have weren't my real friends, and ended up not being friends with them because they were just all very selfish, you know, very, very one-sided. And I put up with it for a long time, and I shouldn't have done. But I was made at that time in my life to feel like I was, I should accept it because as good as I can get and all I deserve, which is not true. It's absolute rubbish. So if you're ever being made to feel small, like you're only worth that much, you know, worth basically fighting to be someone's friend and pursuing them, you're really worth a ton more than that. And cut those friends and get some others, basically, or, you know, or just keep them on the back burner. If they want to speak to you when they want to speak to you, they can, you know, you speak to them occasionally, and that's the way it goes. They become acquaintance, not a friend, really, don't they? Either become acquaintance or they just go out of your life. Do you know what I mean? So, and it's interesting because this person said they've been in the UK for a year and they've only made acquaintances, not friends. So that does give me reason to suspect maybe, as they're not instigating the messages with me, maybe they're just like that with other people as well. And maybe that's why they've got more acquaintances than friends. But I don't know if they just mean in the asexual community. They might just mean in the asexual community. But they said to me that they've been in the UK a year and haven't got any friends, really. And they, you know, so yeah, it's not just to do with asexuality. So yeah, maybe that's an issue with them more than with me, you see. And I can't be like that with someone. I can't have a friend like that. Like all my 3 best sort of asexual guy friends, and even the one that I don't speak to as much anymore, you know, they will message me and I will message them. You know, it's not one-sided. You know, all the 3 guys that I regularly speak to now, they, you know, like this in the last week, they've all messaged me individually asking how I am, especially after what happened with Chestnut. You know, they've all messaged me and said, hi Sandra, how are you now? Or how are you feeling? Or how is life for you now? And, you know, and they talk about other things, you know, like their day, their time, their week, you know, stuff they want to chat about. And it's just beautiful to have those type of friends. And so, you know, friendship is the foundation for anything and any relationship. So first of all, you have to think to yourself, with this person you're thinking about a relationship with, how even good a friend are they going to be to you? So if this person is not going to I'm going to give them the benefit of doubt. We've only just started messaging. It might be because I'm just eager and I message them a lot that I haven't given them time to message me as much. So, you know, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to leave it. Like tomorrow, I will try and leave it and see if they bother to message me, and leave it for several days. Because I mean, I've had a good talking to them now anyway for hours. I don't need to be talking to them anymore for a while anyway. And to be quite honest, like I said, there's so many red flags now. So one of them is about the fact that they vape, which I couldn't be with them anyway in a relationship. Another is the fact that they don't instigate messages. Now that to me, if that doesn't change, I've got to give them the benefit of doubt. Like I said on that, because we've only just started talking, it might be that he likes messaging every few days or something. But if they don't start instigating messages with me, then I know that they're not even going to be that great a friend. And then they will then go to an acquaintance even, or someone that we speak to quite nicely to each other once in a while, but not that much, you see. And that's how they'll drop back. And so, and then the other thing I found out about them is just something I personally, you know, don't forget, these things could be fine for other people. So just because they're not right for me doesn't mean to say they're not going to be right for someone else. But what I'm saying in this video is how to find out if the person that you're interested in is right from you in the beginning. I'm trying to tell you some sort of questions you can ask, some sort of things you can ask. So I've covered hobbies, I've covered interests, and I've also covered equality. Like now I'm covering equality. So equality in terms of, you know, equality as in, are they going to be messaging you as well? You do not want a person who's going to be a friend or a potential relationship to just be the one who's answering your messages and never instigate them. Because otherwise it means they're not really thinking about you, they're not really making an effort. Maybe that's their own problem. Maybe they've got issues where they find it hard to do that, but that's not your problem at the end of the day. You're not here to make everyone change for the better as you see it. You're here to let people be their own thing, do their own thing, and learn from their own mistakes, and learn, or not, as the case may be, or just change or not change, you know? That you're just here to observe and to get the best out of life for you and for other people. And if that you and the other people aren't compatible. So this guy, I would say, in terms of talking, everything is great. However, there was another thing, right? So when we're messaging backwards and forwards, this person is going off from messaging, then on again, off, on, which means that rather than staying on Facebook, they are distracted by something, which means they're not actively listening to me, which means they're not that into me, talking to me as much as I would like a person to be, right? So I don't like a person. So, for example, in terms of a potential relationship, I like someone who's giving me attention. I like someone who's, you know, who's actively listening to me. Now, some of my friends, they do other things whilst they're messaging me. I know they do, but the way they do it is such that I don't know, really, that they're being distracted. Or the way they do it is like, I don't know how to describe it. It's kind of like I'm used to them, I guess. And you know, I do feel like they're giving me their attention, even if they have got other things going on. I still feel that when they're messaging me, that that focuses on me. I feel like they're paying attention. They're focusing on me. They care about me. They want me in their lives. They they genuinely want the relationship to be an equal relationship. I'm talking about even friendship relationships here, because obviously I'm talking about my 3 friends really now. I'm talking about what they're like in comparison to my old life, where everything was one side and I was like instigating all the messages. I was like going after people. I was like being the nice one. One person, I used to go out at night, phone her up from a payphone just to talk to her. Well, she wouldn't phone me hardly ever. Do you see what I mean? That's not a friendship. That's just like weird. It's very weird. Sometimes you think, why did you put yourself through that for years? But I really cared about her. But, if it's not... And she used to be very secretive with, not tell me things. And I used to, once I asked her about her gran, this one friend, I asked her about her gran. And she got really angry and cheesed off with me just asking how her gran was. There was something weird going on there. It was all weird. I actually think the asexual community is far more saner than a lot of the other people out there that call themselves normal. I really do. Because I tell you, since I've had asexuals in my life, my relationships with my friends, my friendship relationships have improved like astronomically. Like, I have to say, I've got one best female friend who I knew before I was asexual. I've known her for 6 years. So she changed my whole perception of friendships. She showed me what a true friend is. They're not perfect. And we're in actual fact, me and my friend are quite different in a lot of ways. She's like a lot older than me, really. Well, yeah, in birth certificate, she's quite significant amount older than me, but she acts young a lot of the time. But she's still like some older stuff. So I kind of have to like compromise, if you like, with what I do with her. I go to places that she likes because I care about her and love her as a friend. And she's into singing karaoke. I'm not, but I go and watch her because she's a great singer. That's what I mean by compromise. So yeah, we're very different characters in some way, but she's showing me what true friendship's like. She will come over to my city and actually, sometimes she's got 2 or 3 methods of transport and back just to come and see me and spend time with me. She's done like a full shift at work, or a morning shift, an afternoon shift. I mean, sometimes she does 3 jobs and she still come and see me, and she's coming to see me this Friday. She's sleeping on someone's couch. She can spend time with me before Christmas because she hasn't seen me for ages. That is a true friend. She goes out of her way for me, and I love her to bits for that. So it isn't just asexuals, but in terms of like the amount of people that I've had, that the volume of people that have become better quality friends is since I've been in the asexual world, and like these people, like I mean, obviously I've had some asexuals that fizzled out that weren't really my friends, but I've got some really true friends now who I value so dearly. And when you've got someone who, it does highlight, having good friends really highlights the pitfalls and the problems in a potential relationship with someone else. That's why I'm so grateful for the friendships, because by having good guys in my life now that I trust tons, I mean, really implicitly, they're very honest and open with me. Now I've got those guys as sort of role models, if you like. I mean, they're not perfect. I'm not saying they're perfect, but they're kind of role models for what that guy's attitude should be towards me, for what a guy should give back to me in terms of effort and communication. They are sort of pointers as towards what standards I should be having for myself and what is attainable. And that is a key thing, because when you have not had good guys in your life in the past, in relationships, when you don't really know what a good relationship is, when you haven't had such close friendships with guys as you probably wish you had done in the past, I wish I'd had done, you don't really have those standards in place in practice. You might think you like that, but you feel like it's unattainable, so therefore you accept less, if you know what I mean. So by getting really good friends in your life who have really good, like really care about you, whatever gender it is, even like my female friends taught me a lot about friendship, my best female friend, because now I've got standards for friendship that I know are achievable. It then means that I don't accept so much rubbish with guys who come into my life wanting a potential relationship, or maybe not even thinking they want a relationship at a time, but then consider it, and then I realised that they're just no good, like months down the line, or as soon as I fancy them, and it's like heartache for me. This is much better way for me. Is, so I'd urge everyone who's watching this, if to get friendship first, no matter whether you want, obviously if you don't want a relationship, then you're looking for friendship, but you're looking for good quality friends. And I hope this video is even helping aromantics who don't want to be in a relationship, but who still want decent friendships. Because in actual fact, in my experience, it's really hard to get decent friends. You can have lots of acquaintances, you can have lots of people but to get people you actually trust, who are your friends, who you really know that you can have open, honest, secret discussions with, is incredibly powerful in your life. And you can like a lot of people, and people can like you, but having those true, trusted, deep friends, I think you only really get a handful of those, sometimes only a handful of them in your life, ones that you can really count on, that you can really trust, that you can really feel love you for who you are. And I think that's so important, because I didn't have that in the past, and I cannot emphasize enough. And it does help my hyperromanticism. It does help me be more logical with guys, I mean, to be honest, I've been studying asexual dating coaches online for since April last year now, so about a year and a half. I think it was March, April I started watching. So that has helped me loads as well. It's helped me to see the signs of people that are not good, that are manipulative, that they're no good from the start. And even in those videos, it says, you should be dealing, which I already knew anyway, and I already usually do myself, but a lot of people don't, is you should be dealing with all those deal breakers very quickly on, be asking the questions. So I got from this guy that I got really good signals, like everything would have been great for a potential relationship, apart from then all the red flags, which is one, he vapes, can't be with a vapor anyway. But say he stopped the vaping, right, just theoretically, I'm not asking him to, haven't suggested it, I've just told him categorically I couldn't be in a relationship anyway with a guy like that, so that's fine. So he knows that now. But just say he got rid of that. If he wasn't instigating any messages, it was me doing all the work, that's not even a friendship, let alone a relationship in my book. Do you see what I mean? So he said he wanted to be my friend. So we'll see if he steps up to the plate in being what I consider a really good friend, rather than more of an acquaintance friend, if you know what I mean. We'll see what happens with that. We'll see if it's just me, because he's quite in his own little world, I noticed. I'm in my own little world, but I still invite people into mine, if you know what I mean. And, the paying attention, like he admitted, he started saying, because I said, oh, I love, my one vice is salted popcorn and salted crisps. I said, I love them. And he started going, oh, yeah, I'm eating popcorn right now while I'm watching this show. And I said, oh, right, that's okay. I'll leave you to watch your show. That's fine. I said, I thought you were a bit distracted. I knew you were a bit distracted. I wasn't sure what it was with. I thought it might be a TV program. So he's going, oh, yeah, I've been watching it all day. I've been watching it, and it's repeated, so he's seen it all before, but he can remember it, and so he remembers everything from the show, and he likes watching. And I said, I'm curious, why do you like watching things you've seen and know? He goes, oh, because I can just be like, I can remember it. And then he said to me something else, that he said, oh, I've got a memory that can memorize things straight away from what people say, and from the audio and the visual, basically. So films and movies, he can recite all the words to and everything, and he likes watching things over and over again. And I'm like, oh, right, okay. And he said, sometimes it's a gift and sometimes it isn't, because I never forget anything. Now, that is a potential red flag for me and for a relationship. And I will tell you why. And even it could get annoying with a friendship, is if a person remembers everything or says they remember everything, that means they can never be wrong. If you bring something up in conversation and you remember something else to what they remembered, it kind of means they're never going to be wrong, if you know what I mean. They're always going to think they're right. And that can cause, that for me is a red flag, because I see that in past relationships I've had. I saw that as a red flag before with someone, and it kind of really triggered a red flag for me. Now, I don't know, what it'd be like in practice, but because I said to him, I said, well, surely you're not always right about everything. I said, surely you're wrong about some things. He's like, wrong about what? And then I'm like, oh dear. If a person is asking wrong about what? And I said, well, anything. I said, there must be times when you don't get things right, and then how do you be humble in those situations and, say you're sorry? He goes, oh yeah, if I'm wrong, And I say I'm sorry about things and stuff, but that wasn't to do with memory. So he goes, oh, because I don't like upsetting people's feelings or something. So I thought that was really nice, but the initial thing is if he thinks, because I forgot something, right, that he told me, because I asked him a question, and then he said, oh yeah, I told you the answer to that yesterday, and started putting the laughing face. And that just really rubbed me up the wrong way, because I don't find that funny if I've forgotten something like that. And we literally, you can imagine all the messaging we've been doing. If we were messaging for hours today and we were messaging quite a lot yesterday, you can imagine all the messages that have gone back and forth. I can't possibly remember all that. I don't have a memory like he says he does, you know. So I had to go back through all the messages just to find out what it was, because I asked him, does he live in his own place or does he share a house? He said, I told you I live in a room yesterday, and then started putting a smiley face, but it was not a smiley face, it was a laughing one. And to me that was like he was laughing at me. So I found that very personally, I found that very upsetting. I didn't say anything, but I found it upsetting because I felt like he was laughing at me because I forgot something, and I didn't think that was very nice. And then I kind of saw that as a hugest red flag, actually, out of all of them. That obviously I can't be with someone who vapes anyway, but I saw that as the hugest red flag, because if someone's already laughing at you for forgetting something that they said yesterday, just imagine if you were in a relationship with that person. Just imagine that everything that you forgot. Yeah, sounds belittling, exactly. That's a word I would use, Heather. It's belittling. Whether he realises that or not, I don't know. But that was just like, it reminded me of the asexual guy that I had an online relationship with, who I was going to meet in person, who ended up being a really bad guy for me. And I just thought then, in that moment, I just thought, this guy's no good for me. I had the feeling, you know, when you've got the intuition then coming in and setting in your body, like, you know, like, it's just no good for me, this guy. It wouldn't be good, because he would always think he's right, and you would never win with a guy like that. And it would just be infuriating. And I think it could get like that in a friendship as well. So at the moment, I'm just going to not, you know, like, if he wants to message me, that's fine, but I don't see that going anywhere, because even, like I said, even in a friendship, that can get very infuriating if you're with someone who's like correcting you on things like that. Do you know what I mean? And laughing at you. It can feel sort of a bit bullying, but like Heather said, the word is belittling. That's exactly what I felt like. And I felt really upset about that. And I didn't say anything because I've only just started talking to him, but I thought, you know, I found out I can't be in a relationship with a guy like you anyway, very quickly on. Because unless I was wrong about that, which obviously Heather's confirmed is right, because that's exactly the word I was thinking, then it's a bit sad, really. In the sense, it's not sad because I found out that quickly, but it's kind of sad because we did get on really well, have lots in common and things. Yeah, it did. It just made me feel, it made me feel like with this guy, you could never win. You would, even as a friend, they would always be picking you up on something you said, because they would always have a photographic memory. They didn't use the word photographic memory, but they are foreign, so they, you know, they not, you know, every single word in the English vocabulary. But I mean, he said it's good because he said when he came to the UK, he picked English up very, very quickly. And, you know, he learned it all. He never knew anything when he came here, and he could just pick it up by listening. So it is a skill and a talent he's got, I agree. But if he's using it the way he's using it with people, like the way he said that to me with laughing, I did feel belittled. I felt really upset about it, because I'm like, it's not nice. It feels a bit like bullying type thing. It feels like, well, I know something that you clearly have forgotten, so ha 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 at you. Do you know what I mean? And I found that's just the biggest red flag. And then at the end of the message, I said I was feeling ill, that my blood sugar was dropping. I was feeling really, and my body was starting to shake. I had to go off and get food. And normally a person, I would think most people would say, I'm really sorry to hear that. Yeah, sure, go and have some food. Hope you feel better soon. But he didn't. He just goes, oh, okay, cheers. And now cheers in the UK language, smart ass, yeah. And cheers in the UK language, yeah, see, the guy, smart ass, that's exactly what that guy was like last year. And he turned out to be a narcissistic guy. And I'm not saying this guy is, because I don't know him. But I'm just saying that that's what that guy turned out last year, and I don't want to go down that path again, you know. I really don't. So, and it's a shame because in part of this conversation, he started saying like he just wanted friendship with me now anyway, which was great because I told him, I said I couldn't be with someone who I wasn't friends with first before. I've learnt my lesson on that most of the time anyway. And maybe it's language barrier as well. Yeah, exactly. Maybe it is a language barrier as well. So, yeah, with the cheers, I've known other foreigners to start saying language like that. Like cheers is kind of like at the end of the message, it's very formal. It's like there's no heart and soul in it. But he said he's really good at English anyway now, so so yeah, he could have used better terms, but I would have thought most people would say, like, he's proficient in English the way he taught messages. So and he's got an American accent he's from Portugal, lives in the UK, but fluent in English and got an American accent. Oh well, don't know what to make of that really. But yeah, so I just know that that's a red flag. So it was a shame because he did say, like we just friendship now and then who knows in the future. But I already know now that can't be a possibility in the future because he did say that in his past relationship he has some work to do on himself since he split up 6 years ago. So he does know he needs to work on himself, but it wasn't to do with the issues that I found out about him, if you know what I mean. So so yeah, I mean, I've only just met this guy, but that's I'm doing this video because I do videos to help my audience out, to help you to decipher very quickly on who is a good person for you to be friends with or more with and who isn't, because I want people to avoid the pitfalls and the mistakes I've made in the past. Like, I don't really think anything's a mistake, right? Because I think you only have life lessons. So first of all, I really hate the word mistake because it doesn't really exist in my book. It's like lessons you learn from. But I want to stop people having heartache and a heartbreak. That's what I would say. I want to stop people getting hurt as much as possible by giving you the tools, techniques, and some of the questions that I ask people, so that if you are looking for friendship or relationship, you know what type of things you're looking for. Like, clearly that type of person who you feel belittled by is not even going to be good for a friend for you. So like I said at the beginning of this video, when Michael said this doesn't really apply to him because he's an aromantic asexual, some of these things do. Because when you are looking for qualities in a friendship, that's what you would look for in the first place before going on to a relationship, unless you're a hyper romantic like me and sometimes jump that step that you shouldn't do. But as you know, I've learned a lot and I'm still trying to improve myself on this. So, I mean, I know even a part of me now, because I'm a hyper romantic, even a part of me now thinks, oh, maybe he'll change in the future. Maybe this, maybe that, but I don't want it. I don't purposely want to go out and change someone. But obviously the romantic side of me thinks, oh, maybe this person will change. Maybe they'll stop vaping. Maybe all of a sudden they'll realise their behaviour. And maybe all of a sudden they'll realise the way they make someone feel like that. And maybe all of a sudden it'll pop in their head that, oh, I've got acquaintances, but I haven't got friends. I wonder why. Maybe all of a sudden they'll start working on themselves. But yeah, that's maybe, if, but, might. And that's not actually the reality, is it? The reality is he is the way he is now. There's probably lots of good qualities about him. But, the qualities, those things aren't suitable for me. And so you've got to realise that if you are looking for friendship or a relationship with someone, there are a lot of qualities. It doesn't mean to say they're a bad person overall, although they might be, because there are still bad people out there. There are narcissists, so you do have to be careful about that. There are manipulators, there are psychopaths and sociopaths out there, so you do have to be aware of such people. But, you've also got to be aware that just some people, they're not good people, or some people are not right for you because their traits, their qualities, the way they interact with you or make you feel is not good. Like, I know some people say in relationships, they insult each other and they think that's funny and they love it. I personally can't stand that type of relationship. I can't stand that type of friendship. It's insulting to me. It's just a form of well, I just don't like it. I don't think it's good for my mind. I don't want that type of, even though people think it's joking around, I've never been that type of person. If I have jokes, jokey relationship or friendship, I don't like it to be aimed at me ever. I don't mind if it's general. I don't mind if it's funny. I don't mind if it's funny jokes in general. If it's aimed at me, I don't like it. And even to friends sometimes, if I've had friends in the past, I'll be like, just don't aim it at me. I don't like it. Don't do that to me, because it doesn't make me feel good, you know. It just makes me feel bad about myself. I don't want people like that in my life. So I hope this video has been helpful, useful, and insightful for giving you some pointers about what to look out for in an asexual relationship or friendship in the very early stages of it. If you know, and then the quicker you get to that point, the better. I've got to that point. Like, I've spent hours of my time tonight when I could have been doing something else, messaging this guy, because he does live in the UK. He seems to be able to stay here after Brexit because he's got his own national insurance number, got a job, a very good job actually, and a seasonal job as well. And you know, he's got a lot going for him in the UK. He doesn't seem to be, he likes the UK, and even he would seem more suited to the city I live in than London. He even said that he might come down and visit me in the future. He even said about, because I said, oh, you really love living on my city with the type of things you want. So there was a lot of things that for quite some time seemed really good about this guy, seemed really compatible, possibly as a future person for me. But then having all the other stuff that's come on top of that now, all the red flags, I'm just saying, you know, this guy's no good for you. Unless because he's only 22, he decided to vastly change, which could happen because obviously he's only 22. But if he doesn't think anything about him's a problem, he doesn't see any of these issues, then nothing's going to change until a person sees their own issues and their own problems or their own ways they are and wants to change them or thinks they need to be changed in the first place. Then, I mean, I would say the belittling thing's not going to be good for anyone, to be honest. That you know, maybe some people would just take it as a joke and they'd be like, oh, right, yeah, I can see the funny side of that. If he already told me that yesterday, maybe they could see a joke in that. But that's not the way it felt, and that's not the way I took it, and that's not the way it looked, you know, to me, you know. I've had other people doing stuff like that to me as well, and it's felt belittling, and I can't be friends or in a relationship with someone like that, you know, like doing that to me all the time. I wouldn't like. I mean, he'll be all right as a friend, like that comes to my meets and stuff. He'll probably be all right like that. But you know, if he started correcting me on things that I've forgotten, I just couldn't stand that, you know. To be honest, as well, with fibromyalgia, it can make your you can make your memory go back. Most of the time, my memory's not too is okay for the majority of things, but it can make you you know, quite a lot of people with fibro have memory problems. The most things, one rule I have is not talk about religion or politics because it could offend someone. Yeah, it's really funny you say that, Heather, because there was there's an asexual group I'm in that's run by a very prominent activist asexual online. Actually, he's got more more subscribers than me, and he runs this group, and he was asking, you know, so how do you keep groups, you know, how do you keep the peace within groups that have got different religious views and political views? And I just messaged back, and all these people were saying all this stuff they did, and I just messaged back going, oh, well, I don't talk about politics usually in my groups, and I don't usually speak about religion. It doesn't usually come up, so it's not a problem. However, in a relationship as opposed to a friendship, this is when it differs, because and like I said, if some people are really strong views in friendships, not going to work either. There's someone in my asexual groups, right? She is very strong-minded and will speak her mind. To her, it's her words, not mine. You know, people who are at all interested in sex aren't really asexual. You know, anyone that does any sexual behaviour, has any sexual contact, is not really asexual, and she'll tell them so. Which can be very offensive because obviously, you know, like some asexuals like touching, some asexuals like masturbating each other, some asexuals will even have sex, you know. Some asexuals don't mind the activity of doing sex as an activity to do, but she will tell them they're wrong, you know. And that is a very strong, powerful person and voice within the group. So I have to be careful on how I sort of manage her comments sometimes, you know, because I admire her for her guts for saying her mind. But, you know, I have to interject sometimes and saying, well, there is people with different beliefs in the group. There are people that do some of those stuff that you think are not, you know, asexuality is the lack of sexual attraction and or little to no interest in sexual activities. But some people do participate in that because sexual attraction is not the same as sexual act. You know, the behaviour isn't the same as the attraction. They don't always go together. So I have to sometimes explain this to her. So, you know, but when you are... So with her, she's actually said in the group that some people she's met up with, she just doesn't get on with because of her views. So even in friendships, you know, if you're looking for good quality friendships, if you are strongly religious and you've got someone who's strongly not religious, that could cause conflicts in friendships. Yes, when you're in circles of acquaintances, you might not mention it, but if you're looking for a relationship or you're looking for a deep friendship, that might be one of the things that you look for, like-mindedness in your religion or your political views, you see. It might be, some people, that's a deal breaker for. I mean, if you've got families that are from two completely different religions, and say the daughter and son, they fall in love and they're from two completely different religions and cultural backgrounds, that can cause huge conflicts and can stop them getting married, can stop them being together. I know people that have gone through that, you know, and it's quite sad, really, but it does stop. So, you know, although we might not mention it in general because it causes issues, you know, if you're looking for an intense emotional experience with some friends, or if you're looking for a relationship especially, those things are deal breakers sometimes. They do matter. And so therefore you'd have to find that out as soon as possible if it's a deal breaker. Like I know if I'm thinking of anyone for a potential relationship, you know, I need to know that they don't want marriage and they don't want kids. And kids, you know, I've never wanted since I was 15. I'm never going to change my mind on that. No way, diddly squat, is that ever going to change? You see what I mean? So so you can have someone who's friends and you're sussing them out for a possible relationship with you, obviously, if you want a relationship, but without telling them, you know, or you could imply it's possible, but without, you know, going overboard on it. But you can also just have it all in secret in your head, and you can be like actually seeing the red flags to begin with. So incidentally, I'm an atheist and a social democrat, and I don't care what other people's religious or political views are. They're not deal breakers for me. Yeah, that's good. Like my BFF, he's an atheist. But some people have been really nasty to him on his Facebook, so he's had to block them because they can't deal with the fact he's an atheist. Doesn't bother me in the slightest. Not in the slightest does it bother me. In actual fact, I think I feel more comfortable around an atheist than I would with someone who's preaching God, the Bible and everything at me all the time, and who believes that you have to put God before absolutely everything. Do you know what I mean? I don't kind of feel comfortable around those people that preach the word of God, because a lot of the time they're not actually preaching the word of God. They're using God's name in vain for their own personal manipulation and circumstances. And I don't like those type of people. Unfortunately, when I did, when I was a teenager, I attended church youth group, which is more like for entertainment. Like I had a boyfriend at the time that went there. Just have love in your heart. Who cares? Just have a love in your heart. Exactly. And when I went to this church youth group, you know, even in the past with one of my exes who used to go to church, some of them are so hypocritical, you know, and so rude, you know. Like if I was religious, you know, strictly religious and went to church, I would have to be respectful on there. But some of them, like, are texting in the sermons, in you know, when they're singing hymns or whatever. Some of them are you know, chatting away. They're not really paying attention. It's like, if you've got no respect for being there, then why be there in the first place? Just because it's appearances, like, oh, my parents expect me to come, so I'm just here for the heck of it. You know what I mean? It's not the attitude to take. If you're going, excuse me, if you're going to do something, put your heart and soul into it, or don't bother. Don't be two-faced about it. There's a lot of hypocrisy, you know. There are, you know, and I hate the fact on Twitter there's so many fake profiles that are using, I'm a God-fearing man. Whenever someone puts a God-fearing man, if they're from the army particularly and they're widowed, it's a fake account. Excuse me. I've got hiccups now. Why have I got hiccups all over a sudden? So, yeah, I just, you know, I don't like it when people take religion and use it for manipulative purposes, or they're not like, you know, they're not, you know, they preach they're totally religious, but yet going against a lot of their own stuff, or manipulating the words for their own, to fit their own means, or, you know, just really just saying the words, not meaning them. I don't believe in that. You know, that's why I'm not strictly religious and I don't go to church, because if I don't believe in it all, I don't believe in the Holy Spirit, for example. I don't believe that bit. I've talked to Vic about it when I was at church youth group, and I just don't understand it. I don't believe it. And when I did get what it was, I just don't believe it. I just don't. So and I'm happy with not believing in it. So yeah. So, like I said, I do believe in God, but in a different way to a lot of people believe him. Yeah. So, But, you know, like you said, it's important to have love in your heart, you know. It's important to be honest and stuff and have people who care about you. But, I mean, obviously a lot of the foreign guys I like, they're Muslim, you know. A lot of them are, because they're from Muslim countries and that's their religion, you know. And I'm like, so long as you treat me well, that's... Oh, thanks for the thumbs up. I appreciate that. So long as they treat me well, that's fine. But obviously some, you know, my dad once printed off all this stuff to do with Muslims and the way men treat women. And it was pretty horrendous, you know. But I have to take people as I find them with, you know, like with how they are towards me as a person, not what it says in some text. Although, having said that, I do understand where my dad was coming from, because at that particular time, not with asexual guys, with sexual guys, there was some guys that were trying to use me for sex, and I didn't realise that at the time. I mean, pretty much loads of guys do that anyway, but do you know what I mean? Thanks for the thumbs up, I appreciate that. So, you know, you do have to be careful, and you have to be aware and not be ignorant as well. So, but yeah, I hope this video has been useful and helpful and insightful. Thanks for the thumbs up. If anyone else is watching and wants to give this video a thumbs up, that'll be great. Just bear in mind that when you are coming across someone for the first time, and say you're a really romantic person like me in particular, just watch out for those red flags. Ask your questions, ask your deal breaker question. You don't have to say, I'm asking you a deal breaker question now. Do you want marriage or do you want kids? You can just bring it into conversation. But it's always good to be general. Like, don't say, I want kids, do you? You just say, you know, you just say, oh, I don't want kids. You know, you don't, if you say, don't say, do you, as in, you're attaching that to you. Just so you know, like, for example, don't ever go on a dating site or message someone as a friend who you like more than a friend and say, I'm interested in someone father. Yeah, Heather, exactly. So you ask it, but you ask it in a non-attached way to you. So basically you would never, if you're a woman who really wants kids, you wouldn't go to a guy and say, I really want a guy to have my children. Basically, would you be up for that? You don't ask that question. You ask the general question, are you, you know, like, are you a person who wants kids? Just a general question like that, you know. Don't be, so is it okay to ask, do you want kids? But don't ask it in a way that looks like you're relating it specifically to you and them being the father or mother of your child, for example. Just make it general, you know. Don't make it like, you know, like it's relative exactly to you. Desperate. Yeah, exactly. Don't make it desperate. Make it generalized. So when I was saying, you know, don't say, oh, I want kids, do you? You can ask that question, but don't ask the one that, you know, don't, the way you ask it in your tone, be careful that it's not like, I want you to have my babies now type thing, but specifically don't ask the question like, would you want to be the father of my children, basically, or mother of my children? Don't ask that question. It's just ridiculous question to ask. It'll scare the person off, or they might just say something in order to get with you, in order to manipulate you. So you don't want those type of questions. You want generalizations to find out how they feel. So, you know, and the fact this guy was watching shows he'd already seen loads of times, and I felt like he wasn't paying that much attention to me. I kind of knew that wasn't a good sign, because I could imagine, you know, if you can imagine that's the way he is as a friend, if you can picture yourself even being in a relationship with a type of person like that, you're not really going to get the attention and time and focus that you need, especially if it's not like they've just never seen this thing before. If if they're more interested in being distracted by something that they've seen lots of times before than speaking to a new fresh person that's just come into life, that's actually taking an interest in them and asking them questions about themselves all the time, if they're kind of more interested in that and you know, like, kind of swapping between the two, it doesn't bode well, really. It's kind of like, well, great, you're there, but I'm just talking to you. It's nice, but you're not really valued by them. That's the word I'm using. You're not being valued as much, I don't think, as you should be. And you are worth your weight in gold, and you should be valued. It's so important that you should be valued. Oh, one of the guys I met on ASAP recently, and one I haven't talked about that much, I think I told you he looks Chinese. I don't know if he's Chinese, actually. I don't know if I've actually asked him what he is. But anyway, this guy is really, really lovely, and he's sadly in America. Love fiber lights. and then that's funny, Hannah. And then love fiber lights, that's funny. And anyway, this person on ASAP, he said that he'd watched some of my videos recently, and I should ask him. He looks Chinese, but or he could be Filipino. I don't know. He might have told me. I can't remember. I can't remember memory. And we just started talking recently. But he sadly is in America, from Boston. But he seems like a really nice person. I have quite a lot in common with him actually. It's a shame he's not in the UK because he likes to lead a quirky life like I do. And I have to say hi if he's watching now. So yeah, it's just he seems really nice. He's built that behind your guinea pig cage. What? Oh, the fibre optic light, you mean? I've got a fibre optic light. Can you see it? Yeah, I've got a fibre optic light. I don't know if you can see that. Let me move it there. See? Fibre optic light. It hasn't got hearts on it though. But yeah, so this person, he's watched some of my videos and he's gone out and bought my Asexual Perspectives book. And he said he watched, thank you, Heather. He said I love fibre optic light. I love stuff like that. So he said he watched some of my videos and he said he thought my room was cute because he's into cuddly toys too, which is great. And he said he liked the way I talk. So I just wanted to say huge thank you to him. He'll know who he is on the ASAP if he's watching this now. So mwah to you, and a big hello and thank you for watching if he's watching right now, because I just thought it's really nice and refreshing. A guy who doesn't like to be normal like I don't like to be normal. A guy who loves cuddly toys like I do. A guy who's not afraid to be like feminine sometimes, like I'm not afraid that I've got masculine traits sometimes. A guy that just seems really, really lovely. And a guy who's into superhero movies like me, but he tends to like the anti-hero movies more. I like the superhero movies more for the same reason. He likes anti-hero movies for the same reason I like superhero movies, because he sees the flaws in anti-heroes, but I said the superheroes have flaws too. You know, it's like there's one that the superheroes usually have moral dilemmas. So yeah, it's really nice talking to him. And he sent me, you know, just having beautiful messages like that about the fact he's got my book, he liked my channel, he thought my room was nice and cute, he thought, you know, I taught well. I just thought it was really lovely. And yeah, so he's like a new watcher of this channel, so that's great. Lou wanted to see this video last night but couldn't because they were working, so hello to Lou if you've tuned in now. And anyway, I think I've spoken enough because I've talked for over an hour. I just want to recap, obviously, and make sure that when you're talking to someone in a potential friendship or relationship, just talk as much as possible to them, and you know, find out sort of the deal breakers for you. Try and find out and gauge what they're like by the tone of voice they use on the messaging, by what they say to you, by how they make you feel. And I think that's a really good point. More than anything is, how is that person making you feel from the off? Are they making you feel good about yourself? Are they making you feel like valued? Are they making you feel appreciated? Like they want you, they've got their attention on you, they're focused on you? Or are they making you feel like you're scrambling for their attention? They're distracted. You're kind of not really their priority. They're saying stuff that rubs you up the wrong way. They're being belittling. Do you know what I mean? It's how you feel really at the end of the day. It's not necessarily clear black and white always. It's how they're making you feel. And if they're making you feel not great about yourself already, that's the like red flag to say, hey, you've been given a flag to get out of here. Go. Do you know what I mean? So I just want to say, you know, always listen to your intuition. Like, it doesn't really matter at the end of the day what anyone else thinks about that person, or whether that person's right for anyone else. All that matters is if they're right to be your friend or to be in a relationship with you, if you were thinking about being in a potential relationship with them. Obviously, there might be some things that you couldn't stand about them in a relationship that you can tolerate in a friendship. Or they could just be traits that you don't like across the board and you just can't stand about the person. So, you know, I hope if you just joined this video late, then please go back and watch it from the beginning, because it should really help you. And I hope you get out of it a lot of information that you can use going forward to have less heartache and less heartbreak, which is really what I try to do to help you on this channel. I try to keep it real. So if I'm not feeling great about something, I will tell you. You know, I'm very real, but I also want to tell you things I've learned, skills, and ways of asking for things or saying stuff to people or questioning people in order to like steer you on the right path and try to avoid heartache, heartbreak, or being around people that are going to manipulate you or control you or put you down, because none of us want that. I think asexuals in particular had so much of that in our lives. You know, a lot of us have been bullied in the past. A lot of us haven't felt valued or understood. A lot of us felt belittled. A lot of us have felt like people would rather do other things than talk to us. A lot of us feel misunderstood, you know. And if we see, particularly, well, I know that for definite, if I see all those qualities in a potential friend that I've just met or a potential relationship, I know to me it's just huge red flags. It's like, no, this is just too much like rubbish from the past. I want to get all rid of all that. I want to get some fresh new stuff coming in. And now I've got these role models of good friends in my life, even though there's not tons of them. There's a nice good quality amount. The quality is better than the quantity. Now I know what I'm looking for. That, you know, my standards, I don't just think my standards, I know that I can achieve those standards, if you know what I mean. So it's great. So, you know, I hope you found this video useful, helpful, insightful. If you have, please give a thumbs up. I know I've already got a couple of thumbs up. Thank you, Michael and Heather, for those. And yeah, good night, Michael. And until next time, embrace your quirky and each other's. Be the beautiful asexual you are always born to be. And I will see you on the next video or live stream. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. And hit that great bell icon so you're notified every time I go live or post a new video. Good night. Oh, hi, Ivan. Thanks for watching. Lovely to have you. Take care. Nice of you to tune in. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. And I will see you soon. Don't forget to hit the bell icon so you get notified as soon as I go live. It's so important. And I will see you soon. Take care. Bye. Bye.